My name is Joel Rodriguez. I started studying Ying Jow Pai in 1984, March 1st.
Okay. At which location was that?
34th Street and 9th Avenue,
Okay.
the good old days.
Why do you say the good old days?
Because there was something about that school, the chi, the energy there, and the training that we did. We had the people, when we were training them, we would stay till 10:30. It could have been 30 degrees in the room or 105 degrees in that room, and we didn't care. We just would work.
What has Eagle Claw given to you in your life?
Mostly my health, physical and mental. It's kept me in great shape. I don't have to do any other workouts, and I can stay in great shape from Eagle Claw. Mentally, as sane as some people may think I'm not, it's helped me through a lot of difficult times in life between family and job and personal stuff, that because of the nature of training with the Kung Fu, and I think that the system itself, because it is so complex, it makes you focus and it helps you take your mind off of those things that are maybe bothering you.
What would you say the spirit of the Eagle Claw practitioner is?
I don't know if there's one spirit. I've seen so many different kinds of people training in the system. I do think the people that stick with it the longest seem to be more open-minded, more creative. They're just constantly looking for new things, and since Eagle Claw can constantly keep doing that, I think those are the people who stay longest.
Eagle Claw is a beautiful and dynamic art, but you consider it a practical fighting style.
I think it is, if people started putting it to use and trained it that way. I don't know, again, I've been away from the New York school for 10 years, so I really can't say for the New York school, but what I have seen and what I feel is that the system as a fighting art is very viable, the principles, the techniques, but being that fighting has changed so much over the years with the advent of the mixed martial arts and the ultimate fighting and the NHB and all those different things, different elements coming into fighting, I think that the fighting aspect of Eagle Claw has to be updated also, and more people have to understand how these other fighters are fighting so that the Eagle Claw techniques and principles can be used against them also.
Do you believe those techniques are in the Eagle Claw system?
Yes.
And just not being applied?
Yes, I firmly believe the principles and techniques are there. I am currently training with a no-holds-barred fighter who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and everything that he talks about and tells me and he does in his fighting are the same principles that I've been taught and learned over the years. It's just that I don't think that the Eagle Claw training has been done towards that kind of fighting. The way they fight now is very different than a lot of the traditional Kung Fu fights.
Do you think people are lazier now in their training?
Yeah,
Do you have an idea of maybe why?
lifestyles are different. Lifestyles in terms of people have to put more time into their job, and people have to put more time into their family, and I think the people who are training seem to be older.
So they're not starting as young in age?
It doesn't seem like it. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're lazy by choice sometimes, but I think they're lazy because of conditions. Now, granted, you make your choice in how you do it, but I think the training isn't as intense. Certainly, it's not as intense as it was when we were at 34th Street.
You are Sifu, correct?
I think sometimes.
Tell us where's your school? And
My school is in Atlanta, Georgia, right in the heart of what we call Midtown.
what year did it open?
1999, May 1st.
Okay. What is it like running your school?
It's amazing that Sifu's managed to do it for 30 years. It is challenging on a On a business level, it's very challenging because Kung Fu is not as commercialized, and I certainly don't want to commercialize it, make it like Taekwondo. It's not as well known. It's not as it's popular in the wrong ways and for the wrong reasons. So on a business level, it makes it difficult because people come into the school with quite a lot of misconceptions about what they're going to learn in Kung Fu. On the more interactive teaching level, it's very difficult because you're dealing with so many different kinds of people. Physical abilities ranging from cannot jump 1 inch off the floor to extremely good athletes. Mental abilities from do not know their left from their right to brain surgeons. And everybody grasps this in such a different way. Even a brain surgeon, I use it as a joke, the way to humble someone very quickly is teach them Kung Fu, because even brain surgeons won't pick this up in the night. It is just so challenging to come up with different ways to communicate what this is all about. And you're always coming up with different ways, and it's amazing that Sifu has managed to teach it for so long and have people just walk out here getting it. And I've been doing it 6 years at my school and almost 15 in total, and I'm still wondering how he does it.
What has Sifu Shum meant to you?
Levity. He's just been just so much. I couldn't just begin to describe all the things. He's certainly been the only Kung Fu teacher that I have and want. And I'm not just talking Kung Fu in terms of Chinese martial arts. He has taught me so much in the way of how to handle myself in certain situations that spilled over from training in martial arts Kung Fu that I don't think I would have been able to do if I hadn't watched the way he teaches and deals with people.
Okay, you've been studying for many years Kung Fu. Have you ever had to use your abilities in a real street confrontation?
The times that I've had to use it physically, it wasn't much. I had someone who was challenging me and shaking his hand in my face, and after politely asking him to move his hand, and I moved his hand for him from my face, he brought it back up again, as far as I could tell, swinging, so I caught it, twisted it, and swung it again and hit him. And then stood there as he stumbled back, and that was it. So I only had to use it for one punch, but it stopped what he was doing, and nothing else happened after that. I was calm. I managed to stay calm. With my red hot temper, that means something, I've learned, because I normally would have been all over him, or used to be. Would have.
How do you see the future?
Wow. I'm hoping. I know I am going to do my best to keep it going, and I know Frank is going to do his best to keep it going. And it's very difficult because certainly New York, the rents are crazy. And who knows, all my students are always wondering, is the New York school going to stay open? I said, I have no clue. I know rent's going to be through the roof, and it's very difficult. I also know that the lifestyles and the for the same reasons that the students are different, I think that's almost the same thing we can expect of where it's going. We have to find a way to adapt to what people want. And I think part of what I'm seeing when people come to me, they either want to do it for health or they want to learn to fight. And it's not the same as when I was training initially. We learned Kung Fu, which is health, fighting, and all of it. I get people who come in and I just want to get a good workout, or I want to really fight. They don't know how to mix the two, and I think the key is to find a way to modernize the fighting and show people that Eagle Claw will work for fighting. And then when people come in for, I just want a good workout, convince them it's a martial art. You can't learn it without fighting, and get them to embrace the whole aspect of it. and somehow get them to want to learn it and fill their learning. And the other thing is, I think that's important is somehow not cheapening it. I don't want to commercialize it. I do not want to make it look like Taekwondo. And that really makes it difficult. So where do I see it? I think it'll still be around. I don't know if it'll ever be as popular as Taekwondo. I don't think it ever will be. It's too difficult.
Taj here, one of the returning older students. As you can see, Eagle Claw has a lot of what you've been noticing is forms. Most martial arts train and they're based on forms training. A lot of people go, well, forms don't teach you nothing. It's just doing this and doing that. Forms are your training. That's where you get your conditioning, where you get your speed, where you get your strength, but most importantly is where you get your techniques from. If you're doing a form properly, you're seeing your opponent, you're visualizing your techniques, and you're fighting. The partner form that you saw shows techniques done together in a choreographed form. Well, when you're doing an empty hand or solo form, it should be done the same way. So what Taj and I have done is taken some techniques from some of the more common, more popular forms, and we're going to show you an application of these techniques. And that doesn't mean it's the only way these techniques can be applied, because every technique has more than one application. It's just one basic way of applying the technique. So we're going to start with one of the more basic techniques of Eagle Claw, and this is called the flower. Okay. Next form, next technique comes from the third form you learn, which is the first true Eagle Claw form you learn. And it comes from technique, a form called Silmanjong, or small cotton palm. Okay, the third form that you learn, or the second Eagle Claw form you learn, is called Muay Fa Kyun. Alright, the next technique, combination of techniques, is common to almost every Eagle Claw form. And the reason is it's called the Eagle Claw closing. A lot of people do it and they kind of have no idea a good way to use it. So. Okay, this next one we had fun with. You've seen it already done. Dave had the pleasure of doing it in Mahorn Kyun. We tried to come up with a different way to use it, so we're going to try something new. Gosh. Here goes nothing. Got it, cut. He's been very brave to let me do that. Okay. In Eagle Claw, there's a form called Han Kyun. Han Kyun is one of the father forms of Eagle Claw. It presents a lot of different basic fighting techniques for Eagle Claw. Therefore, we picked two things from this one. First one, he's been very brave to let me do this. Okay, this next one is also from Han Kyun. Okay, next technique is, again, one of those techniques a lot of people see. It's in G-Kyun and in a lot of other Eagle Claw forms. We even do it as part of the advanced basics. This one's called Dimbo. Okay, the last one, I've been fortunate enough in the past few years to get around, work with a lot of martial artists from a lot of other systems. Keep this one a secret. This is one I haven't found in any other martial arts system yet, and I don't even think anybody understood it when I've shown it to them. There's one person I've shown it to outside of this system who figured it out, and I hate him for it because he beat me up with it. But it's a more advanced technique. It's called Jinwanjung. All right. Okay. I hope that gives you an idea. The techniques from the forms can be used. They are effective. You can ask Taj about that. And when you train, keep that in mind. Thank you.